Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today I'm going to be talking about Avatar: The Way of Water, and this is going to be my non-spoiler review.
So what does her heartbeat sound like?
Mighty.
So 13 years after the record-smashing original film, James Cameron takes us back to Pandora with Avatar: The Way of Water. And real quick guys, before we get into the video, the review, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button. That's where you get notifications for all my new videos. And if you guys can, give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to tell you guys something to start off that a lot of you are probably going to be shocked by, but I never actually saw the original Avatar when it came out in theaters back in 2009, and I actually just saw the film for the first time this past weekend. Yep, that was the first time that I watched the movie. I didn't even see it when they did the re-release in theaters, which I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing that, but I feel like they might do another re-release at some point, so I'll have to check it out then. But anyways, so I just saw Avatar 2: The Way of Water this week, and honestly, I think I like the sequel more than the original film. Basically, the plot of this movie, without giving away any kind of spoilers, there's not really a ton of spoilers I feel like to give away, but without giving any kind of spoilers away, the plot of this movie is Jake Sully has a family now, but the Sky People are back, and so that forces Jake and his family to go on the run, and that's basically what Avatar 2: The Way of Water is all about. Alright, so let's talk about the visuals in this film, because honestly, that's what these movies are really known for, what people are going to check these things out for, especially where they've been working on this movie for 13 years to see if it could live up to the hype what the original one did when it first came out. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I highly suggest you guys see this the biggest screen possible in 3D, because I think that's going to be your best experience for sure. I saw this in IMAX 3D, and honestly, this is probably the best 3D experience that I've ever had in my life at the movies. There was moments in this movie where, for example, there was rain coming down in a certain scene or certain parts of the movie, and I honestly felt like it was raining in the theater where we were at. I almost felt as if I could reach out and touch the rain droplets that were coming down. That's how damn good this 3D was. Early on in the movie, we are still in Pandora, and even at that point, when we were watching that part of the movie, I looked over to my friend that I went to go see this with, and I was just like, wow, like I think they even improved on what Pandora looked like in the original film, just with the forest aspects. But then, when the film takes you to the water, and you see all the water scenes, my mind was just like absolutely blown with what they were able to do with the water stuff. I was just at a loss of words, honestly. The creatures, the water, honestly, everything in this movie was just visually stunning. There was a number of times throughout the film where I was just sitting there wondering how the hell were they able to accomplish some of these shots. Now, as far as the plot goes, is there anything groundbreaking there? No. Is it sort of predictable at times as far as the storyline goes? Yes, there's definitely elements that I would say are fairly predictable. This isn't a complicated movie. You are going to this thing for the visuals and just the theatrical experience overall. So when you have those other elements that are just so absolutely insane on a next level, sometimes, at least for me, you can look past maybe some of the flaws with the story line not being this like complicated plot or anything like that. I found myself so invested in just the world and then the characters that we meet in this movie as far as Jake Sully and his family, that some of that stuff didn't really bother me quite as much. And there's definitely a heavier focus on family this time around in Avatar 2: The Way of Water compared to the original film. Jake has a family now, and I think everyone gets their moment to shine in the film for the most part. Zoe Saldana's character does take a step back a little bit in this movie, but she still does definitely have a couple big moments in this movie that I thought were really badass. And we also get introduced to the Water Tribe in this movie, so there is a ton of new characters that they introduce, but like I said, I feel like they did a pretty good job of fleshing out the main group, the family. We get to spend time with each one of those characters for a fair amount of time. For the most part, like I said, a couple of the characters that we met in the original film, they maybe take a step back just a little bit, but I was so interested in some of these new characters that didn't really bother me quite as much. And honestly, I was really surprised by the emotional punch that this movie had. I was not expecting that quite as much either, and I'm not gonna lie that this movie definitely got me a couple times as far as that goes. And yes, this movie is 3 hours and 12 minutes, so it is a long movie for sure, but honestly for me, again, I was so invested in the world of Pandora, being in the water, getting to see all these new creatures and things like that. I was so invested in the world and these new characters that we were learning about that I never really felt the movie dragged for me. You could maybe cut out 20 minutes-ish or something like that, but there was never any parts where I was kind of sitting there going, okay, this is boring, let's move it along a little bit. And I know some people are going to disagree with this, but there's moments where the characters, they're interacting with the new environment, the underwater scenes and things like that, where not a whole lot's really going on. You just basically have these characters looking at different things in amazement. But honestly, for me as an audience member, I'm looking at those things too and being like, holy shit, I feel like I'm right there in the ocean with these characters. So I really like those scenes that we got throughout the film, and I wouldn't have minded if maybe we got even a little bit more of that. But I know some people I've seen saying that they felt that was a little self-indulgent or, you know, just a little boring, and they wish some of those things would have been cut out. For me, I really like those. And again, I can't recommend to you guys enough. This is one of those movies that it's definitely made for the theatrical experience for sure. Recommend you guys seeing this on the biggest screen possible if you can see it in IMAX 3D, because the 3D is just so damn good. You know, we get a number of 3D movies, or you know, a lot of like the Marvel movies and stuff like that, where you'll have elements of 3D and the stuff looks good, but I mean, compared to what they were able to do, because this movie was shot specifically for that, it is just incredible. It's a theatrical experience for me that I'm not gonna forget anytime soon. This movie made me think back to seeing some of my, you know, when I was like a kid, seeing some of these movies for the first time in my life and just being in awe of what I was seeing on the big screen. That's what I kind of got from this movie. You don't get those things kind of too often, so I thought that was really cool. In the end, I thought the 13-year wait for the trip back to Pandora was well worth it, and James Cameron once again tells us why you should never bet against him in delivering a cinematic experience that has to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. As you guys can tell, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I'm already making plans to go ahead and watch it again, although I did see a lot of the big screens, the showings were sold out, so I'm gonna have to try and figure out something there. I'm gonna try and go see this down at the Jordan's IMAX, because that's the biggest IMAX that we have around here, so I'm definitely gonna try and see it on that. As far as the score goes for me, I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10. I just had so much fun with it. Yes, like I said, the story, like the plot, isn't anything brand new, groundbreaking. No, like some people could say the plot is pretty thin, but I don't know. I just had so much fun with this movie that I can kind of look past that a little bit, just because some of the other elements of the film work so well for me. But I definitely want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be checking this movie out this weekend and then going into the holiday break, so I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. So let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Do you like this more than the original film? And let me know where you were able to watch this. Did you see it in 3D, or did you see it in Dolby? Let me know what your experience was like. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you can. I really appreciate it, guys. And make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.